Good afternoon, gang. Different venue completely. I'm excited about being able to go to Capture Kids' Hearts tomorrow, and I'm sorry that I'm not there, but as all teachers do that care about their kids, they make sure that they have something that is pertinent and something that is not just busy work. First off, I want to talk about the text in the vocabulary section, the first two sections, the lesson parts, where it talks about vocabulary. And just a few highlights. There are over 88,000 words that are used in American text, and that's a lot of words. Your listening vocabulary is your largest. Speaking is a little bit smaller than that. The reading vocabulary a little bit smaller than that. And when you write, you use even a little bit smaller in terms of vocabulary, an amount of vocabulary words. So listening is our biggest one. We can hear words and we know a lot more than any other of our vocabularies. We don't often speak at such a large level as we listen. And when we read, a lot of times that's even smaller. So when we write, what our goal is we want students to be able to use vocabulary to read and write. And so, that's why it's important for each of you to stress vocabulary and to give kids strategies to help them work their ways through tough vocabulary words. There are also, I tell you about the 3 tiers of vocabulary. Tier 1 is your everyday language. There are thousands of these. Tier 2 is your reading vocabulary. There's 7,000 that are pretty typical for us, that are understood but not used every day. In order for us to get kids to even halfway to that 7,000, we would have to teach them 400 new words a year. Okay? Tier 3 are the words that are associated with your content area, whether you are a PE major or you are a math major. The Tier 3 words are specific to your content area. And words have roots, prefixes, and suffixes, and I think middle and high school teachers, one thing they can do is dissect words with kids and say, hey, here's the word that begins with DI, and what other words do you know? Just having them dissect and see that words are connective across content areas is helpful. Okay. When teaching vocabulary, you need to think about what's important to understand the text. With our fact pyramid at the bottom, which words are important to understand? And out of those, what kind of prior knowledge is needed? Is there any knowledge about roots, prefixes, or suffixes? Do the words have multiple meanings? So you need to make sure to cover that. Do the kids know how to use context clues? Context clues, great lesson for all of us to reinforce, and there's a section in your lesson this week that deals with context clues and what types there are and how you can reinforce those in your content area. And when you're teaching words, can you group some of them together to make it easier to understand a concept? Those are things to think about. You hearing Cleo? She's snoring. So also, in your class, you want to make sure that your students are actively participating with vocabulary, teaching them strategies, which there are several strategies in the lesson. Also, in this book, there are tons of little things you could do in this first group, the light blue, that deal with vocabulary, like list, group, and label, and developing content vocabulary. Anticipating content by having them skim through a section in the text and write down the vocabulary words that maybe they don't know or the ones that they do and make predictions about what that section is going to be about. Provide them opportunity to use the words. Remember what I talked about 7 times to understand something. Getting that into that child's vocabulary, particular words into a child's vocabulary is going to take time. And something that I think is very, very important is make words, vocabulary acquisition cool. It's like I told Jack in my class, you know what? Boys that read, whoo, girls love them. And vocabulary is the same way. You know, if you make it cool and you make the kids see that it is, it's very important to learn vocabulary and it's a cool thing, then they will definitely follow suit. Okay, hopefully you printed out my sample lesson that I have given you, and you have printed out my fact pyramid that I couldn't fit into the triangle, so if somebody wants to help me fix that, you can. All you're doing this week, and look at the sample, is making sure you have a Common Core State standard that matches what you're doing. Okay, and you'll see my standard. You will briefly tell me what the lesson is about. I gave you a sample sentence for that. You will make a list of materials you're going to need. You're going to, I didn't do objectives yet. I kind of do those last. I mean, I have them up here, and I know what I want them to do in the end with this. They're creating alpha book, vocabulary books, and using their talents. Where A to Z, they're coming up with words that deal with the Holocaust, and it's the whole unit, not just this one lesson. And your activities, you're just going to number them. So you would kind of use that to guide your instruction when you're up there lecturing. Okay, so my text set includes a lot of different books. I have gone to the media specialist. She's given me all kinds of books on the Holocaust. Students are going to look at least read 3 of the text in the text sets before they work on their alpha books for the vocabulary. And, this is a work in progress, guys. I may be moving things around. I may be moving the order around. I want to know what you're doing for your vocabulary, okay? Whether it be the alpha blocks we did at the beginning, whether it be that students create an anticipation guide, or any of the other samples I give you in the lesson, okay? You will drop it in the Dropbox. Remember, read my lips, work in progress, okay? This is where I help guide you. I'm going to guide you. You've been through the lesson. You're going to make an attempt. This is not formal assessment at this point. It's worth a very small portion of your grade, and I will help guide you, okay? You'll drop it in the box. And make sure that you're using, too, Buell's textbook. Buell has a lot of different activities in there you can use for vocabulary that you might prefer over the ones that I've shared, okay? I hope you guys have a great day. I will miss you this week, but I will be back Tuesday.